So I want you to think of your brain and your mental capacity. Think about them like a battery. In the same way that we think about our phone, we're constantly watching that little meter on our phone to see where the charge is. So we start our mornings with our phones, hopefully, at 100%. And as the day goes on, the charge goes down. Now in your phone, that's because it's constantly connecting to networks. You're sending and receiving messages. So it's fairly obvious that battery is going to get used up through the day. The same with our brain. Your brain's managing all the body stuff, like breathing and pumping blood, but it's also burning energy in the thinking process and the planning process. We as human beings have evolved to store enough energy to get up, go and find food, care for the area immediately around us, build shelter, and then we lie down and we go to sleep for typically 8 hours. That's when we recharge everything so that the next day when the sun rises, we're ready to go again and do that same routine. And our brain's battery is perfectly designed to support that process. Nowadays, however, technology has created an always-on environment, but our brains didn't get the memo. So now we wake up and we instantly have access to over 7 billion people's life experiences and problems. And we know that the media makes its money out of showing us the bad stuff. But what that does is it triggers our primeval fears and our fight or flight mechanisms. All of that stuff drains our brain power. We can't stop life happening, but what we can do is we can prioritize what we respond to. In this tip, we break our entire worlds down into 3 categories. Everything that could possibly happen today and every day can be split into these 3 areas. And your stress levels, and therefore your happiness, relies entirely on which of the 3 boxes you choose to put every single event into. This model's called the CIA model. It's got nothing to do with law enforcement agencies, but it's a really clever mnemonic to make us remember the tip. It stands for control, influence, and accept. So we break everything in our life down into these 3 categories. Control. Things that I personally can control. The things I do, the things I think, the things I say. And equally importantly, the things I don't do, the things I don't think, and the things I don't say. These are all things that I can directly affect, and therefore I can justify giving energy to them. So then we come to things that we can influence. And that would be partners, family, friends, work colleagues. We can ask them, we can advise them, we can try and persuade them, but we can't make them do what we want them to do or what we don't want them to do. So we can only influence them. So they get a lesser amount of our energy. And the last thing is anything that doesn't fit into those 2 above. And that can be the weather, the passage of time, world events. But how can we use this model to affect our positivity? We know from my battery analogy that you only have 100% energy to give in a day. And once you start to see your day and your life from that battery perspective, you can be a lot more choosy on what you burn your energy on. Now, there's nothing wrong with staying aware of current events, but we have to control how much of our energy that we give to them. It's one thing to be concerned for people who are suffering because of an earthquake or because of a conflict. They are terrible. But where you're sitting, ask yourself honestly, is there anything I can do to change that? Maybe you can donate something to charity. Fair enough. But if you can't actually go to that place and fix that, then I'm afraid you are literally wasting your precious emotional energy, and they will never know that you're feeling that for them. And it will have absolutely zero impact on that situation half a world away. It's not that it's not important. Can you afford to give it energy that you need to get through today for real? And then we come to our partners and our family and our friends and our work colleagues. Now, these are people that we love, like, and respect, So they're entitled to some of this precious energy that we have. And that can be for positive or negative reasons. If you love someone who's really going through a bad time, then that's going to take a lot of your energy. And that's okay. But then it becomes even more important that you don't waste it in other areas, so that you have got that precious energy to help that person who needs you. But it's also an area where we can get wrapped up in bearing grudges and office gossip, people pleasing, and trying to be something we're not. And all of these things, that saps energy. And once we're aware that it's literally tick, tick, tick running away, then we can get better control over it. And then it comes to you. If you're responsible for other people, children, work colleagues, whatever it is, you have a responsibility to them to look after yourself. Because if you don't care for yourself, you will eventually burn out. And then you will not be able to actually look after them in the way that you actually should. So looking after, number one, is not selfish. It's good leadership, and it's showing love and respect to those people that you're looking after. I promise you, they will thank you. So let's recap. I want you to really be aware of how you distribute your energy. Control what I do, influence what they do, and accept anything that is beyond my control or reach. And then, and only then, can you share some of your precious happiness with the wider world, even if they will probably never be aware of it.